everyone, welcome back to John's Briefs, once again with the Baron of Barristers, Tim Forshee of Forshee Law, here on John's Briefs, brought to us, of course, by Firearms Legal Protection. We're here hanging out at C2 Tactical in Scottsdale. Thanks to them, by the way, for letting us use their conference room.
Nice conference.
The Apple River, Wisconsin stabbing
Yes.
that we put on the channel not too long ago, and it caused a kerfuffle. Folks were frustrated with my opinion. Of course, people comment more out of negative emotion than out of positive, and so when people are negatively aghast, they will tend to do that and question my parentage and my lineage and my faculties.
Come on, guys, just calm down. I can attest all those things are impeccable.
It happens. It happens. I get it. But I want to ask the attorney, what does he think about what he saw?
Firearms Legal Protection is who I trust to help me after a use of force incident. If you're a Firearms Legal Protection member, I will also be on your team as a consulting expert, and you can attend our monthly active self-protection training seminars for free. Check out all they offer to their members at the link below.
First of all, I think this is one of those things where you go, he's going to spend 15 years in prison over a cell phone.
Yeah.
What amounts to a cell phone? This is stupid.
But according to his argument, if you believe everything he's saying,
Right.
over a cell phone, yeah.
Oh yeah, if we
Correct.
believe what he's saying,
Correct.
that let's just assume that he was reasonable for a moment, and all
Right.
he's doing is looking for a lost cell phone
Right.
that's in the drink.
Yeah.
Then he just gets to a point where instead of going, this is a bad idea, I need to not be here right now, he ends up getting in a stabbing over it.
And let's not forget, because I think we try to do this on every video that we comment upon, but Demon Alcohol had a lot to do with this, right? I mean, he thought this and he thought that and he did this and he did that. How much of that was, I mean, he admitted to the cops that he was kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Which in my experience as a part-time cop and as a full-time bouncer for a lot of years, if somebody admits that they're kind of drunk,
They're really
they're
drunk.
really drunk. And so,
It's true.
this, I mean, you see a group of young kids floating down the river, they'll be gone soon. I don't know, maybe walk over and check that area with your snorkel for the cell phone after they've cleared. I don't know that you need to walk into the midst of a whole, gaggle of youngins, and start doing this, because one of the allegations, of course, was that this was some sort of a pedophilia thing, that he was actually peering at girls underwater with his mask and his snorkel, and it had nothing to do with the cell phone. I don't know if the cell phone was ever recovered or not. They didn't cover that in the articles that I read. But, just to avoid that whole situation.
Yeah.
And again, I think alcohol is, you mix alcohol and weapons, whether it's a knife or probably even worse, a gun. I mean, it's a hugely, hugely bad idea.
Well,
you can't overemphasize.
And listen, man, river floats are a thing. People do them here in
They're
Arizona.
gonna be drunk, right? Most folks. I mean, that's
People do those
Yeah.
here all the time.
good old Salt
It's-
River float. Yeah.
The Salt River float's a big thing here in Arizona. I've done them in the Midwest with Neil and Stephanie and their family, and you just lash a bunch together and throw some coolers in there. And do people get drunk? Yeah, people get drunk. Have I ever been drunk on the river? I'd never admit that on camera.
I'll admit that I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't really enjoy them because I don't drink, but it always makes me think of our good buddy Ron White. He was on a 7-hour river float, and you know what? He never had to go to the bathroom once.
Not one
With
time.
all the beer he was drinking, he never had to go to the bathroom one time.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I tell folks all the time, maybe this is a place for us to start our discussion of it, though, Tim. Is people go, well, if you watch that trial, the jury is stupid. I don't know, man. The jury usually gets it right.
Most of the time, I think the jury has what I would say is good common sense. They might get to the right way, the right goal the wrong way, but generally speaking, you can kind of see where they went on that. You can kind of say, everybody always gets mad about the O.J. Simpson verdicts.
Right.
And I would say, if I was on that jury, if I would have been on either jury, the criminal or the civil jury, that's exactly what I would have voted.
Yeah.
So that was a very controversial decision. I think it was the right decision. So it has to do with the difference in the burden of proof, but to me, the system works most of the time the way it's supposed to.
And in this case, the jury looks at murder, and said, no,
Right.
we don't think that, but manslaughter?
Yeah, I don't think he intended to kill somebody, but
Right.
was there gross recklessness in the way he executed his decisions? That's what it takes.
Right.
It's manslaughter.
And grossly reckless decision making that led him to a place where someone could reasonably be
Correct.
thought to have lost their life.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is, he sliced up 4 other people
Yeah.
too. So
And punched a young girl.
and
like, in the
punched a
face.
young
Yeah.
girl in the face. So all that to say, I think the jury looked at him and said he did wrong.
And if this had been, and now a lot of people I think that probably think that John and I are wrong when we assess this are probably saying, look, he was outnumbered 20-1. And they were shouting and chanting and taunting. Yes, they were, and sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. If they had been punching on him, if they were plucking pieces of flesh off with their sharp fingernails, if they were attacking him and he was afraid that he was going to drown or something.
Right.
That I think that changes this analysis. But for him to later say, well, I was afraid I was going to drown. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have a heart attack, but I'm not in the midst of a heart attack when I say that. So I didn't see him being attacked. I saw him being taunted. Perhaps justifiably, perhaps not. I wasn't there. I don't know. But the fact is, I didn't see that he was in imminent fear for his life.
Right. Well, and I think that some of the rest of that too is in court, that those kids, they're, young adults.
Sure.
All maintained that he punched one of those girls first.
And that's what started
And
it.
that's what started the physical confrontation. So you
if I'm-
escalate.
And if I'm there and you punch my 15-year-old girlfriend in the face, we're gonna start screaming.
We're gonna
at
scrap.
worst. Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna scrap. You're gonna catch hands, man.
Yep.
Try Jesus, because I throw hands. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what's up. So I think when you get all that mixed.
And by the way, when I said my 15-year-old girlfriend, I meant back when I was 16.
Right, when I was 16.
Just so we're really clear on that, Shannon. We're really clear on that.
That's right. You've been married enough years. No, we're not going there. Not admitting to felonies on camera.
I'm like, saying
Weird.
that in my mind, that didn't come out right.
Yeah, wait a minute. Well, so to me, the whole thing here is, well, wait a minute. Was he justified in the moment? The jury said no.
Right.
Okay, and I think the jury usually gets it right.
And so that means the answer, guys, is no.
Yeah.
Right. And
because the jury's final.
You can't appeal a case because you don't like what the jury did. Right. That you have to have something where there was some error made, usually by the tribunal, by the judge, an error in judgment, usually a gross error in judgment, in order for an appeal to be successful. The fact that you didn't like the jury verdict, that the jury disagreed with you, what you thought was true,
This is important. This is
spit in one hand and wish in the other and see which one fills up faster, because that doesn't change a thing.
There was a number of those comments. Well, they'll just appeal because clearly the jury got it wrong. And I said, but that's not a basis for appeal.
Doesn't
The
work
only
that way.
basis for appeal is the judge allowed something that they shouldn't have, or did not allow something that they should have.
Don't forget, that's discretionary. So usually the term you hear is abuse of discretion. The court had to abuse its discretion in allowing X in or in failing to allow Y in.
Right.
That's how you get an appeal.
And that unduly influenced the jury.
Right. It was prejudicial or unduly.
Prejudicial.
Yeah, so you just don't get to appeal because you don't like the outcome. Yeah.
Right. So, I've been involved in cases that I think was abuse of judicial discretion, and that's why we have appeals courts, right? So
I've seen it, and fortunately, the times I saw it, we won the case anyway. But it was like, wow, that shouldn't have happened, Judge. But that was my opinion. I'm sure the judge had a totally different opinion.
Right, because the judge obviously had the opinion it was okay.
Exactly, or he wouldn't have allowed it in. Yeah.
So this is bad use of force, guys. Bad use of force. And I also think, I did hear a couple people say, well, why would you go floating down the river with a knife in your pocket? Well, I mean, shoot, I floated down the river with a gun on my person.
I was going to say.
Not while I'm drinking alcohol.
I would. I don't find fault for that.
No.
In and of itself.
I don't have any
if I'm drunk or in a hoot owl, I don't know that I should have any weapon available to me at all.
Totally
a vehicle
agree.
or a gun or a knife, but just because he's floating down a river doesn't necessarily mean he's drunk, and it doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't have a. I mean, I don't know. There's an emergency. I need to cut the lines that are tying all these tubes together, or whatever. I mean, a knife's never a bad tool to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Might be a cheesecake nearby that you need to cut. I mean.
Way more likely for me. So, yeah.
So friends, I get it. There was some negative emotions, okay? But the jury usually gets it right. And you can't appeal, I don't like the decision. And I will say at the end of this, I feel like this older gentleman had control of these outcomes.
He most definitely did. He was in control of his own fate.
And therefore, this is why we say be a good, sane, sober, moral, and prudent person. And a bunch of young adults, I have floated down the river a bunch of times. You see a big gaggle full of late teen, early 20s kids drinking, smoking, a little bit of the devil's lettuce, leave them be. It's
just wait till they pass.
Yeah.
And then go look for your stupid cell phone.
Then go look for your stupid cell phone, because you could have been away from that. Certainly, as they are getting stupid and taunting and those things, that's the time to recognize, you know what, I'm going to withdraw here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get out of this situation. And yes, I might sacrifice my ego for that, but I might save the rest of my life.
Yep.
So, man.
And this all assumes that there really was a lost cell phone, because to me that stretches credibility a little bit right there. I mean, you're going to find something the size of a pack of cigarettes in this giant river.
Yeah, in a
For some reason,
fairly
it's
fast
right
moving
there. Yes, it's muddy water with all kinds of people stirring up sediment and stuff. I mean, why would you go waste the time and effort to even look for the phone? I mean, okay, maybe because he was drunk and it was stupid and he was trying to impress the guy or the gal that lost the phone, I guess, but that's kind of a fool's errand. I don't see how it's ever going to be successful. I think maybe the jury wondered that too. It just seemed like a made-up reason.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, yeah, this guy's going to have a lot of time to sort out what he said and what he did, that's for sure.
True that. Well, Tim, thanks for the insight.
As always, buddy, yeah. Sometimes they're sad endings.